Welcome back to the presentation podcast. I'm Clea.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Mira. And for this week's podcast, I'm not going to be here. We had this arranged, and then I realized that I was actually really busy at the time. So I'm sure that Laura and Clea handled it really well, and I will see you in the outro.
So for today's podcast, we're joined with Sherelle. How would you like to introduce yourself a little bit further?
Sure. So my name is Sherelle. I am a past pupil of Presentation Ballyfihan, and I'm now an actor and a teacher, and I wear a few hats, but yeah, currently based in London, and I'm Laura's cousin.
And would you like to just tell us about what you've done since you left Presentation?
Sure. I'll try and keep it brief because it's a bit of a long topsy-turvy road to where we are now, but yeah, I graduated in 2009. And yeah, since then I've had a few different roles. I concentrated on German language jobs mostly. So I went to UCC. I did the arts program there. I focused mainly on Irish and German. That's what I continued with. I added an extra year to my degree so that I could go and live in Germany, in Bonn, in the old capital. And yeah, I did that, came back, and trying to think of the main points. Yeah, I started working for Amazon for a while, doing seller support stuff, and then I had a job with Apple doing more German language stuff in the environmental sector, which was really cool, and I felt like I was doing something good, a little bit, doing my teeny tiny part. After that, I moved to New York for a while. Can't really disclose what I did there because it wasn't very much. I went over on a graduate visa and just kind of did odd jobs. After that, I came back and, sorry, I'm a liar. That's when I started working for Apple, actually. I worked there for about 2-3 years, and then I moved to London. I did an MA in musical theatre at the Royal Academy of Music in London. Yeah, and since then I've been working in the industry. I mainly do kind of not musical theatre at the moment. I'm mostly focusing on TV and film work, trying to get more experience there and a bit of voiceover work as well here and there. And I also teach drama and I teach singing, and I currently started teaching a workshop at BIM London, which is a great music college in London that I love. I think that's everything. That's the short version.
First of all, with what you originally started doing, so with the German and the Irish, what kind of pushed you to kind of carry on with the German since secondary school and the Irish? What was your kind of inspiration to do that?
So languages was always what I was good at, just naturally. I think it came from the fact that I went to an all Irish speaking primary school in Ballyfihan, on Tortop Road. I just loved Irish. I was good at it. I never minded, having to speak in Irish all the time. It suited me, and yeah, I just was interested in it. Obviously that made it easier when I went to secondary. So with German, even to go back a small bit, for some reason I always wanted to learn it. I think I was just obsessed with the sounds. It made me feel really powerful. I really enjoyed speaking German. I really like listening to women speaking German. It just, I don't know if it was a power trip thing, but probably more than that. I thought it was really beautiful and I really wanted to study it. So yeah, I went to Presentation, obviously, where that was on the syllabus. So fantastic. I just ended up being good at it. I think, yeah, there's something about being bilingual anyway, which I would have been from speaking Irish and English all the time. I don't know, I've read before that once you kind of have one language, it makes the other ones easier. So I done French as well. I really like that too. I actually wanted to do French and German, but unfortunately it wasn't a possibility for leaving cert. So I did it for the junior, and then yeah, German just suited me. I really loved my teacher. I really loved the subject. I got on well, and yeah, I love the idea of the arts degree. Some people, maybe don't think of it as highly, maybe because it's not specialized, or you know, it has the reputation. Some people think of like people do it when they don't know what else to do, but I think it's a great, maybe that's what it is for some people, and it probably was a bit for me, but it was a great opportunity for me to end up specializing in something, but through like a different pathway where I would have more options. So when I did my first year, I did 4 subjects. So I think I ended up doing beginners Italian, actually, as if I didn't have enough languages. And then I did like a history, not history, it was a Celtic history, Celtic civilization, which I loved. Like I wanted to keep them all on. But yeah, it was an opportunity for me to try different things, like ease my way into it, and it was just a really good course, and I loved the college. So yeah, that's why I kept it on for. Oh God, was that even your question? Oh God, I love a rant. That's why I did it anyway after school, and then I continued with it because I wanted to use my degree. There were jobs out there. I wanted to be a translator for ages. I really wanted to be a translator, but when I looked into like the possibility of having to translate like washing machine manuals and stuff into English, it wasn't really the rock and roll lifestyle that I was looking for. So yeah, I ended up working, and it luckily, like, I got a job that was really supportive because my spoken language wasn't brilliant. I was fine at reading, great at everything else, just I wasn't a confident speaker. Nothing due to like the tuition or anything, it was just my self-confidence. I found it really hard to speak the language to people, you know, who spoke the language fluently, or people from Germany. So I was lucky that I ended up in a really supportive job where they let me like learn at my own pace and kind of built me up to speaking on the phone. Then it was great because I was speaking to people on the phone all the time. I was talking to people who had loads of different dialects, like all over the German speaking areas, and yeah, it was just a really good experience. I really like that job. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Okay, so what is a goal that you have for the future regarding kind of, I don't know, I presume the kind of work-wise or anything kind of along those lines?
Just really want to be on Corrie, mate. No, I'm only joking. I don't think that's the goal anymore. Well, it is. I mean, I would absolutely love that. Like that was always like a pipe dream, like for years and years. I don't really know. Like I don't have one massive goal, like one show that I really want to do, one thing that I want to be a part of. Like right now, I'm still doing different things and doing things for the first time, like looking into different areas, and yeah, maybe like figuring out what I want to specialize in. Maybe I don't have like one big goal. Just I'm always learning, I'm always wanting to do new things, and I think just explore as much as I can, like in the next few years, and expand even more, see what other areas are out there that I haven't looked at yet that I might want to try. Yeah.
So who or what kind of like pushed you to really like make the move of like moving to London and really like following your dream?
Aging. Partly true. God, it was really chaotic, to be honest, but when I did do it, like I won't lie and say it was a really smooth, like everything fell into place kind of thing for me. I wanted to do some kind of performance, like properly train, like go to London, do, you know, an undergrad, like go somewhere that did a 4-year undergrad course and just pursue it straight away. I had too much fear, to be honest. I think that was the best turnout for me, actually, because I don't think I would have been able to handle it at my age, like when I was 18. For me, like the pathway that I chose to do it later after having a life meant that I really appreciated it when it came to do my training. I really took it seriously. I made the most out of it. I did a 1-year MA and I threw myself into it because I appreciated I'd waited that long. What actually kicked it into gear was having a really good job in German, like a German speaking, in a good company that I liked working for, that, you know, was really supportive and it was a good role, and just still not really being super happy or content. Like, nothing against the job, but it was that feeling of like, you know, 11 a.m. would come and I'd look at the clock and be like, oh God, I have this whole day ahead of me. And like, I just thought, I don't want to live like that. Like, you spend more time at work than you spend doing anything else in your whole life. So I didn't want the majority of the hours of my life to be like running down the clock until I could leave. And that just wasn't a good feeling for me, for anyone. So it happened really, really quickly. There were colleges that I wanted to audition for. The one that I ended up going to was my main goal. I really wanted to go to the Royal Academy, because their singing tuition is the best. So I'm a singer mainly, not anymore, but at the time I considered myself to be mostly a singer. I'd be an actor first now, but I can still sing. I'm still there, don't worry. But yeah, that's where I really wanted to go. I remember looking up the deadline for applications, and it was in like less than a week at the time. And I was like, oh, the thing that made me do it was I just gave myself like short-term goals. So I didn't think about, you know, way into the future. I just thought, you know, if I can get an audition, I'll go. And I'm just going to think as far as the audition, because it just seemed like too much to think far beyond that, which was a good strategy, I think, for me, to just break it down in bite-sized pieces. So I thought, yeah, I'll go to the audition. If I get in, and I get in. If I don't, then I don't. And fine, at least I can say I tried, and I can kind of, you know, the urge might go away, like just picking at me in the background to do it. Because I wasn't really performing either in Cork anymore. Like, I dedicated myself to career stuff, and I wasn't really, I missed it terribly. And yeah, I just booked the audition, and I went and I got in, and I was like, oh no, but oh yes, but oh no. And then I had to just resign myself to moving to London, and then it all just happened really quickly. So I believe your question was what pushed me, and I think it was just, yeah, the niggling voice in the back of my head that didn't really go away, and like not being absolutely thrilled with where I was.
So is there any advice you would have for somebody who is trying to like choose a career or like a college course or something after secondary school? Is there any like advice you might give to someone like us nearly because of
yeah, of course. I think
So, yeah.
like people sell themselves short all the time, and like obviously I haven't had this crazy career where I've, you know, done a million things, but like if you told me when I was in sixth year, excuse me, if you told me that in sixth year that in like however many years, let's not do the maths right now, that I would have done all the things that I've done now, I would have been like, no, like that's not gonna happen. Like it just would have seemed like a dream, because I have done some cool things and I'm really proud of what I've achieved, and I just never would have thought that. So I think, one, like, never sell yourself short. If there's a thing that you think you cannot do, or you have any doubts, just do it anyway, even if it scares you. There'll always be someone to help. There'll always be, yeah, there's always a way through it, and you'll surprise yourself more times than not at your own resilience and your own capacity to adapt to whatever situation you find yourself in. So do the things that scare you, even if they don't. Doubt yourself, because everyone else will. You might as well back yourself. Is that too deep?
No. Also, I just realized a while ago, I'm pretty sure it's College Awareness Week next week, so this would be so handy to put up on Monday.
There you go.
Like, I just realized that because I'm pretty sure we got told, we got like a notification earlier, so I was like, perfect. Like, I actually didn't know that.
And voila.
Um, another bit of advice for people. Do you have any advice on anything to do with like kind of like the industry you're in now, or like kind of probably like about having confidence in the industry that you are in with
I
music
think
and
like people don't realize that it's a work in progress. I think people think that you get to a certain stage or you do another job, and once you get that job, once you do that thing, then you're confident and your apprehension just disappears. That's not the case. Like, I know people who've done amazing things. They're still I don't want to like be like they're still terrified all the time. They're not like they'll always be like the voice in the back of your head telling you that you're not good enough, or that you don't know what you're doing. And imposter syndrome is real, and most people have it about different things. It's to do it anyway. Like, God, I'm throwing out so many cliches right now, but yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. Confidence is a work in progress. You will always be working on it, and it's also something that you have to work on actively. It's more than just, especially in like, there are many tough industries, but this is a tough one. It's about working on it actively every day, doing little bits to keep yourself in a mentally healthy place, like whatever it can be for you, doing mindfulness, doing yoga. I like to write. I like to write my thoughts down. Some people like doing full journals. I do like dots and just get my thoughts out so that they're not in my head. And it's working on it actively, not just being anxious and putting it down and shutting it away and ignoring it. It's taking steps all the time and always working on it, and it gets better. Minding yourself and kind of putting yourself first, and having clear boundaries is important also. Like, you can be stretched quite thin, but it's knowing, like, at the end what you really want to do and staying true to that. I think not letting, there's a lot of people will tell you different things, but knowing that you're the most important person at the end and you can only speak for yourself.
Quiva, do you have any questions you can come up with? Because they're the ones I had.
I don't think so. It's really tough to go down with it.
Is there anything else you want to mention, Sherelle? Anything else you want to talk about?
If you could please read my book. No, I'm joking. No, I don't. I don't know. Are there any other questions you have?
I was thinking about, when you kind of have your clear idea of what you want to do, like after secondary school, and then you have kind of like, you have to have your back doors and you have to have your second options.
Sure.
Like, even just thinking about myself, like, when I think of like what I want to do, I'm like, oh, I'm like, obviously I've always wanted to do something like theatre wise or singing or acting or something, but I ended up like, I've been thinking about teaching a lot, and like, so, but other than like teaching as like a second option of something to do as, like, people would say, a real career, because you know how people always like the amount of people who've looked at me when I've said I want to do something acting or singing, they're like, that's unrealistic. It's like, they're like, and you're literally the prime example of like, it can't be realistic. Like, it's
very realistic. And like, again, I think it's taking it down to like bite-sized pieces, short-term goals, not thinking ahead, like, am I going to have this huge career? Am I going to do all of these things? Like, life is short, but life is long, and you don't have to do everything now. Like, I think if I was in your position, and I would say it to anyone, and it's not just like someone wanting to do, a more artistic, choice versus like, the safe option, as people would say. If deciding between two things, I would say think about like what's best for you right now. What would you enjoy more at this point in your life? If you wanted to go to London to train, I'm just using this as an example, like, is that what you want in your life right now? Do you want to be there like in the next year? Do you want to be doing that, like being in that industry, being in that world right now? Or would you actually really like to do teaching? So like weighing up the pros and cons of both, like to talk about doing like a sensible option first. I need to stop like quoting people. If you're going to do that first, like having the confidence to know that there's absolutely nothing wrong with that choice. Like there is so much time. People change careers all the time. Like people go into new areas. It doesn't mean you need to stop doing what you love. You could do that now, do what you love, you know, on the side, like while you're studying. I'm sure there'll be great resources to do that at college, like to do it, you know, with a group or as an opportunity to meet people and broaden your horizons and meet different kinds of people as well. Knowing that you can come back and change later. So that's absolutely fine. But also knowing that if you were to go into, you know, an artistic route now, that's completely realistic also. Think of the people who do it all the time. Think of the numbers of people that go into these courses every year. Do you think every single one of those people are like, this is my only choice, I'm going to do this, can't no one tell me otherwise, I'm going to, like, this is, you know? No, everyone's pooing it a little bit. Like everyone's scared. It's just you do it anyway. Don't let fear hold you back if that's what you want to do. Again, I'm trying to generalize and say, like, if the thing that you want to do is only stopping you because of fear, that's not a reason not to do it. But also if you want to do like option, you know, that's maybe slightly less, you know, exciting right now, that's absolutely fine too. You can do it later. For me, I'm glad that that's what I did, but I know people who did it straight out of school and that's what they did too. And both options are valid, but don't make a fear-based decision.
So hopefully you enjoyed today's podcast, got a little bit of advice and just kind of learned kind of Sherelle's story and kind of what she's done after leaving presentation. It's a very interesting story, I think, anyway.
And I can't wait to go edit this because I actually have not seen the interview yet. So I'm recording the intro and outro for it and I have absolutely no idea what happens.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
I forget I start.
And for this week's podcast, I'm not going to be here because I am elsewhere, but I'm sure the others will take it.
Well, you need to re-say that because I went to say for this week's podcast, blah, 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 blah. But I forgot you should probably say that first.
We can't say it in that order because it makes more sense if you're like, oh, and today we're here with Sherelle Kelleher.
Oh, I know. I just forgot. So, Sherelle, would you like to introduce your first? Whoa.
Do that again.
So, okay, would you like to just tell us a little bit about your story since you left presentation?
Yeah, sure. So,
up there, white ones.
That's pretty much it, really. That sums it up perfectly.
I actually can't. Oh, that's creep as well. True sense.
Mara, if you could leave that in, please.
Eva, you disappeared.
Just gotta cover my fairy liquid bottle for a second. I'm gonna sip my tea while you gather your questions.
College.